Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into a really exciting hackathon demo called the Bharat Sovereign Ledger. We're going to unpack a platform that essentially marries decentralized cryptographic ledgers with state-of-the-art AI. It's a system purpose-built to tackle the big ideas of digital sovereignty and constitutional alignment. So if you've ever wondered how we might actually secure our digital rights using modern tech, let's jump right in.
To really get this, we need to look at the core problem. As we move deeper into the digital era, we're facing two massive gaps. First, there's just no truly decentralized, secure way for citizens to affirm their representation or pledge allegiance to democratic values without relying on some giant centralized database. And second, as we all know, large language models have a nasty habit of hallucinating, getting jailbroken, or just totally losing their alignment with foundational constitutional principles. The big question this demo tackles is how do we fix both of those issues at exactly the same time? To see how this tech actually pulls that off, we're going to break its architecture down into four core sections: decentralized identity, linguistic parity, proof of allegiance, and finally, constitutionally aligned AI.
All right, Section 1, Decentralized Citizen Identity. This is all about establishing a secure digital presence. We have to begin our technical journey at the foundational level, right? The individual. Before you can interact with a sovereign network, you need a rock-solid way to prove you are there, securely and privately.
The platform achieves this using what's called a decentralized identifier, or a DID. And the magic word here is locally. When a user enters their name, in just a fraction of a second, the browser derives this decentralized identity right there on the user's machine. It creates a unique URI and a dynamic QR code pointing to a sovereign registry. The crucial takeaway? There is absolutely no central database holding this identity. The user has complete, total ownership of their private digital presence, which they'll use to authenticate queries and anchor blocks later on. And the security backing this identity? It is heavy duty. This single source of truth is locked down by a robust RSA 2048-bit key pair. Because the whole thing is completely generated client-side, right in your browser, it ensures maximum cryptographic entropy and security. You aren't trusting some third-party server with your keys. You hold that cryptographic power literally in your own hands.
Moving on to Section 2, ensuring linguistic parity. So once we have a secure individual identity, how does the platform scale that across a massive, incredibly diverse cultural landscape like India?
It does this through absolute linguistic parity. The architecture seamlessly supports all 22 official languages of India, completely honoring the 8th schedule parity system. When a user switches from English to Hindi or Tamil or Telugu, the interface responds instantly with these smooth animations, serving up official prepackaged translations. It's honestly a beautiful example of using technology to ensure that a diverse population has equal, rich access to their founding charter.
But we're not just talking about a basic word-for-word translation here. By querying a secure server-side Gemini AI API, the platform breaks down these absolute core democratic values, words like sovereign, secular, or democratic, into high-fidelity, culturally inclusive terms. It's delivering native script terminology, transliterations, and even historical annotations. It ensures that the true meaning, the actual constitutional weight of these words, is preserved perfectly across all 22 languages.
Which brings us to Section 3. The proof of allegiance ledger, establishing collective trust. So we've got a secure identity and an inclusive understanding of constitutional values. This brings us to the third pillar, action. How do we notarize something immutably?
The developers posed a really fascinating challenge for themselves. How exactly does a citizen commit their allegiance to these democratic values in a way that is entirely tamper-proof? The platform answers this by introducing a custom consensus mechanism they call proof of allegiance, and it computes visually right there on the screen.
This consensus engine works in 3 distinct steps. First, the user clicks to notarize, which signs a cryptographic hash of their specific native language preamble using their private key. Second, the SHA-256 validator kicks in, mining the block to resolve the correct leading 0 difficulty. And it's so cool because you actually see real-time hashes flying by on the interface. Finally, step 3, the validated block is appended dynamically to the sovereign ledger. That block contains the signature, identity, native payload, and the previous block's hash. It is fully distributed and fully verifiable.
Okay, Section 4, Constitutionally Aligned AI, featuring the SCCA guardrail engine. Finally, we reach the fourth pillar and arguably the most advanced server-side feature of the entire demo. Think of it as an AI assistant, but with a massive twist. To understand why this is a game changer, just contrast standard large language models with this platform's specific setup. Standard LLMs are notoriously prone to jailbreaks and making up facts. I mean, we've all seen an AI confidently invent a historical event out of thin air, right? But the Bharat Sovereign Ledger utilizes an SCCA-guarded Gemini 3.5 flash backend. SCCA stands for Sovereign Constitutional Alignment. Every single reply from the AI is scanned to ensure factual anchoring, rigid tone checking, and guaranteed safety compliance. The AI is literally locked down to the law.
And the transparency here is just wild. The system calculates these exact metrics for every single output. It mathematically scores the alignment, showing 98%, for example. It identifies the core value being reinforced, like liberty of life. And, most importantly, it shows the precise legal anchor, such as Article 21. You aren't getting an AI's best guess. You are getting a mathematically verified, legally supported output.
So, the absolute key here is this concept of anchoring. Anchoring algorithmically forces the AI to base its conversational output strictly on verified legal data. It acts as this uncompromising safety mechanism. If the AI cannot anchor its response to a constitutional article or a hard legal fact, the guardrail system steps in and shuts it down. It's a phenomenal way to ensure that generative AI can actually be trusted in highly sensitive civic environments.
Up next, integrity and compliance testing with the Sovereign Test Runner. Because, building all these incredibly complex systems is one thing. Proving they actually work together in the real world is another. That's exactly why the developers built an onboard diagnostic dashboard right into the platform.
They call it the Sovereign Test Runner. When you trigger it, it simulates adversarial inputs and runs a live compliance suite. It attempts to inject forged block signatures to test the cryptographic shields. It asserts parity across all 22 languages. It absolutely hammers the AI to test alignment safety. And, in a move I'm sure every web developer will appreciate, it even verifies the Tailwind v4 CSS contrast checks to ensure the dark mode UI remains perfectly stable. And when all those tests pass, it issues a unique cryptographic verification certificate right on the screen.
So, what should you really take away from this explanator? It's how brilliantly the Bharat Sovereign Ledger bridges these massively complex computer science domains. It doesn't just use blockchain for the sake of it, and it doesn't just slap AI on top because it's trendy. It actually combines the immutable, tamper-proof power of ledgers with the high intelligence of strictly aligned AI to offer an impartial, highly secure digital infrastructure. It really is a powerful blueprint for how civic technology should be built going forward.
Which leaves us with a truly fascinating final thought. As our lives become increasingly intertwined with digital systems, our digital rights really must be protected by more than just blind trust. They need to be mathematically secured. So, how will the integration of cryptographic ledgers and constitutionally anchored AI redefine the future of digital sovereignty? Could the very algorithms we interact with every single day eventually become the ultimate defenders of our foundational rights? It's a thrilling question, and definitely one that redefines the future of civic tech. Thanks for joining this explainer.